The Canadian Tulip Festival is proud to present Dutch Folktales. Today's story is Jan and the Magic Pot. Once upon a time, there was a poor man named Jan who could not afford the rent for his house. He begged the landlord for mercy, but the landlord just laughed at him. "If you cannot pay the rent, you will have to get out." Jan said to his wife, "We have no choice but to slaughter our cow. That will give us something to eat, and we can sell the skin, which will cover at least part of our rent." So he slaughtered the cow and went to the market with the skin. He stood there in the rain and the wind for over 3 hours, but nobody came to look at the skin. Close to where he stood were the windows of the town hall. The light was on in one of the rooms, and the leaders of the town were counting out a large sum of money. Jan thought, "I must have that money." So he crawled inside the cowskin and rushed up the stairs, roaring and stamping. Well, the gentleman ran away in terror, leaving all of the money behind. Jan quickly crawled out of the skin, filled it with as much money as he could carry, and set off for home. The next day, he went to pay the landlord. "Where did you get these 400 guilders?" asked the landlord. "I slaughtered one of my animals. Skins are expensive these days." "In that case," said the landlord, "I will sell 2 animal skins on the market." So he sent his servant to the market with the skins of his 2 best milk cows. Before long, a man stopped to ask how much he wanted for them. 800 guilders, the servant replied. "Have you no sense at all?" said the man, and stormed away. And this happened again and again until the servant gave up and returned home with the skins. The next day, the angry landlord went to see Jan. Jan saw him coming down the road and said to his wife, "Yell at me and tell me that I am a terrible husband. I will pretend to be angry and strike you gently with this stick. You must then fall down and lie very still. Do not move until you hear the sound of my whistle." The landlord arrived and shouted at Jan, "What a liar you are! Imagine deceiving someone like that!" "Yes," Jan's wife shouted, "he is a mean, cruel man. He's no good. He lies to everyone." "Oh," said Jan, "you impertinent woman!" He then grabbed a stick and struck her. She fell down and lay motionless on the floor. "Dear me, Jan," said the landlord. "Look what you've done. You have killed your poor wife." "Take no notice of it," said Jan, who then took an ordinary whistle and blew it 3 times. His wife instantly sprang to her feet. "Oh, my goodness," said the landlord. "You must sell me that whistle." "I will not," said Jan. "Please," begged the landlord. "Well, all right. For 1,000 guilders, you can have the whistle." So the landlord paid the sum and returned home, very pleased at having acquired such a splendid object. When he walked in the door, his wife, who was always in a foul temper, exclaimed, "It is clear that you have lost your senses. First you slaughter 2 perfectly good milk cows, then you squander all of our money on a toy. You will be the ruin of us yet." The landlord decided to teach his wife a lesson. So he grabbed a stick and gave her a good smack. She fell and lay motionless on the ground. He then laughed and blew the whistle 3 times, 6 times, and 7 times after that, but nothing happened. The woman did not move. The landlord hurried back to Jan's farm. Jan saw him coming yet again. "Wife," he said, "the landlord is coming. When you hear him knock, put that bubbling pot of pea soup behind the door." Well, the landlord was livid. "You cheat! You lied about everything!" He tried to force his way into the room, but the door would not budge. "Jan, what is bubbling in that pot?" demanded the landlord. "Take it away! It is blocking the door!" "Sir, that is our magic pot. We put it behind the door where it cooks a lovely supper without any fire." The greedy landlord paused. "How much do you want for that pot? Well, now that my wife is dead, I should find it very helpful to cook my supper without the need of a fire." "I would take a bag full of money," said Jan, "for this is my most cherished possession." So, the landlord gave Jan a bag of guilders and took the pot home with him. He tossed a dozen potatoes and a bit of meat into it and placed it behind the door. He looked inside from time to time, but the potatoes stayed raw and the meat would not brown. It was then that he realized that Jan had again deceived him and that the pot was worthless. Well, he flew into such a temper that he kicked the pot into the fire, where it caused a great storm of sparks to fly into the room. His wife, who was not dead at all, gathered up her things and fled the house. She went to live with her sister and spent a very happy life away from her greedy husband. The house caught fire and burned until there was nothing left of it. And that greedy landlord, who had lost everything, went to work for a cruel master in the city and was never heard of again.